Need help in using the factoring method to solve your quadratic equation? Yeah, I think you do. Well, fear no more. Introducing the Math Hat will make you see everything mathematically. Hello, I am the Math Hat. So I say you wore me. So for now, because of that, I am going to help you solve quadratic equations using the factoring method. I helped another person, but I was very boring in that. So right now, I am going to try my best to be better. Although I'll still stutter. But still, anyways. Steps in using the factoring method. So I'm trying to speak faster because as you can see, the person I previously helped, I was so very slow. So I hope that at this time, I won't be like that. So anyways, number 1, write the equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is positive. 2, factor one side of the equation. 3, set each factor equal to 0 using the zero factor property. 4, solve each resulting linear equation. 5, check the results in the original equation. Remember, the factoring method can only be used if the expression is factorable. For your easy problem, let us answer x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 0. X squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 0 is already in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is 1, b is 7, and c is 12. Now, to factor this equation, we must look for numbers that when added will give a sum of 7 and when multiplied will give a product of 12. Since 12 is a product of 4 and 3, and adding 4 and 3 will give 7, then we can use 4 and 3. Now, a quadratic equation is formed by multiplying two binomials written in the form x plus m times x plus n. Sorry, I stuttered, but anyways, for some numbers m and n. So using the numbers 4 and 3, we will have x plus 4 times x plus 3 equals 0. Now, the zero factor principle tells us that at least one of the factors should be equal to 0. So we will set them each equal to 0. X plus 4 equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. This gives me simple linear equations which are very simple to solve. Therefore, x plus 4 equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. If you're going to solve for that, doing your very simple algebra, transposing positive 4 to the other side and changing its sign, as well as positive 3 to the other side and changing its signs, it becomes x equals negative 4 or negative 3. The solution to x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 0 is x equals negative 4 or negative 3. Now, we have to check if our solution set is correct. So, checking x equals negative 4, x equals negative 4 seems to satisfy the equation, so it's correct. X equals negative 3 also seems to satisfy the equation, so it's also correct. Now, for the difficult part, which is 8x squared plus 24x plus 16 equals 0, 8x squared plus 24x plus 16 equals 0 is already in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is 8, b is 24, and c is 16. Now, to factor answer this equation, we must multiply a and c and look for factors of ac that will give a sum of b. So if 8 times 16 is 128, factors of 128 that when added together will give a sum of 24 are 8 and 16. So we will use those numbers, 8 and 16. By this point, which is kind of tricky, we will make a 2 by 2 grid where the upper left corner has the first term, or 8x squared, while the lower right corner has the last term, 16. Place our factors 8 and 16 with their variables and signs in the remaining boxes. Okay? Place them anywhere. The answer will still be the same. So there you have it. So you have 8x squared on the upper left corner, while 16 in the lower right corner, and the other factors 8 and 16 on the remaining boxes. Now factor the rows and columns like this. Now, for the top row, a common factor of 8x squared and 8x is 8x. For the bottom row, a common factor of 16x and 16. Now, for the left column, what can you multiply to 8x to give 8x squared? Also, what can you multiply to 16 to give 16x? The answer to that is x. Start it up there. For the right column, what can you multiply to 8x to give 8x and to 16 to give 16? The answer is 1. So all started up there. The answer is stated from across the top and the sides, which are basically x plus 1 and 8x plus 16. Following the form x plus m times x plus n, for some numbers m and n, we will have 8x plus 16 times x plus 1 equals 0. I hope you guys understood that. I think you guys did. That is a solution. Now, the zero factor principle tells us that at least one of the factors should be equal to 0. So we will set them each equal to 0. 8x plus 16 equals 0, or x plus 1 equals 0. This gives me simple linear equations which are very simple to solve. Therefore, 8x plus 16 equals 0, or x plus 1 equals 0. For the first equation, transpose the 16 to the other side and changing the sign gives negative 16. But we still have an 8 near the x. So divide the whole equation by 8 to cancel the 8 near the x, which will give off x equals negative 2. As for the other one, the simplest and easy, very easy algebraic expression, we will give off if transposing positive 1 to the other side will give negative 1. Therefore, the solution to 8x squared plus 24x plus 16 equals 0 is x equals negative 2 or negative 1. So we can also check it is correct. Checking x equals negative 2, it seems to satisfy the equation. Let's now check x equals negative 1. It also satisfies the equation. So therefore, that is how you solve quadratic equations using the factoring method. I hope I'm a lot less lively right now, although I kind of stuttered. But anyways, bye-bye! Bye at the We Don't Exist store.